Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining today. Rob and I are going to talk today about a problem that we see in the low code market. And the problem is that people, enterprises, who are all on a journey to a very different world of software building and software creation, people are stuck on those journeys. our we've been researching low code and DPA and the associated technologies and ideas for a long time, and our we could see very early on that these technologies were going to change the way that software is built and maintained, and who builds it and maintains it. Software will become everyone's business. Everyone, business people, professional developers, systems engineers, everyone will get involved. That's digitization. That's digital transformation. That's where we're going. Now, people get stuck, and I'll just highlight the first reason, Rob, that I see. People get stuck because they adopt low code as just another software building technique, and they still code. They have other techniques. They buy solutions. Low code is not just another technique. I mean, it can be, but that's so limited. Um, if you really follow it and really start to introduce business people into the mix, you get a lot more out of it. Rob, what are the some of the issues that you see?
Yeah, I mean, well, I know I agree. Obviously, we've been doing this for
I
a
hope
long
so.
time. Yeah, I mean, the audience doesn't realize that we had like full heads of hair when we started this, right? But obviously, we've been at it for a while, John, and I think we both, were happily retired and came back because there's this vision that we had for where this was going, and I think you're right. I think folks are stuck on the journey. And I think your maturity model and some of the work you've done there has been really informative as to where people get stuck. But I like to use the term organizational DNA, where everybody in the organization, every employee in the organization, has the opportunity to say there's a process, there's a piece of our business that could be run more effectively, and I can be a part of that, right? I have more in my tool bag than a spreadsheet and email in order to make my job easier. And that means people being involved in building software that ends up in a managed platform that can participate in broader processes, that can run on their own, and get these things off of the desktop. But gets up in the morning and thinks there's something in my job that doesn't work well. It's probably not working well for other and some people in similar positions. I have the ability to participate in making that better. And that feels where we haven't quite gotten from a project-based mindset. We can build faster, we can build, certain things, really quickly, we can maintain them more easily, to we can extend the footprint of business development out and make it part of our organizational DNA.
Right. That's a really critical point, Rob, that we've been on for years, which is that the walls between IT, central IT, and business people, business organizations, the walls between IT professionals and business experts and practitioners have to come down, and they are coming down. We do see more and more business people, who look. Business people are smart and creative, and and particularly maybe not if they're of our generation, but certainly the younger people have a lot of aptitude for working with technology to solve business problems. Um, but it essentially all of the business people who have that aptitude ultimately need to be empowered to really reach this vision of wake up in the morning, got an opportunity, got a crisis, got a problem we need to solve, and you just solve it. You don't have to stand online outside the IT department hoping that they have time for you and bandwidth, and people can just solve problems. Um, One of the signals I look for in an organization is, does that organization have a formal citizen developer program where they're empowering people to participate, certainly with on IT, on projects that are being maybe driven by IT, but also to solve problems on their own in a managed environment, as you said. I mean, if I see that, that's a good sign that that organization is going to advance its journey much, much more quickly than people who do not have a formal program.
Yeah, and that's a big step, John. And I think it's fair to say that not everybody's necessarily going to go to that step or is at that point in the journey. But I think there's an interim step that is maybe not as well recognized. Because here, citizen developer, a lot of people's their hackles will go up. We're not ready for that, and I think we should be really clear. I think we've been really clear that it's a big step. It requires a lot of planning. And we don't think that that's really happened in the way that it needs to yet. It's a big commitment. We think it's a necessary one, but it's not something that you enter into quickly or frivolously. But I want to talk about this interim step, which I think is equally important as a step forward, which is even if IT is helping you to develop the software, even if IT is still kind of maintaining some control over software development and software deployment, the way software is developed is fundamentally different, right? The old requirements gathering process. Okay, we're going to do your project. Well, first off, when we were using old techniques and it was time consuming and difficult to build software, you didn't really line up at IT's door. You knew that was a non-starter, right? So you just lived with the tools that you had. Now, all of a sudden, if I can develop it really quickly and side by side with you, right? We're sitting side by side. The entire business that's involved in how this process runs is involved in providing input to what the requirements of this is. It's rapidly being iterated. That is a really important step, John, I think, in that the business is far more intimately involved, even if they're not yet allowed to deploy software on their own in a citizen development model.
Right. We used to call that, back in the day, we used to call that test a business idea and learn. So you would learn, is the requirement that I see actually real? Is it valuable? And if you can see it, you're in a much better position to make that judgment. Anyway, this is something that we're very passionate about at Analysys.Tech. Rob mentioned we have a maturity model that we've built to help organizations sort of chart, sort of calibrate where they are in their journeys and plan the next steps to advance those journeys. We've done a video presentation of that model, and we're very happy to discuss it. You can contact both of us at Analysys.Tech. And thanks for listening. I hope this was helpful.